University. My name is Bob Stewart. We're going to bring Greg McDaniel on here in just a minute. A bunch of you guys have met Greg or heard Greg already. He's been with us a few times. It's the third time we've had him. We're not going to stop bringing him back here to Active Rain University. We enjoy having him around. Before I jump in, I got a couple of things. I'm juggling a few balls here. I get to record today. I don't normally do that, so I just pushed the button on that. We are live. We are recording. We'll have this recording to get out to you guys later. Before we get started, I always like to kind of highlight something, and for me, what was the most ridiculous email or comment notification, I wrote this post about generating seller leads using Facebook advertising, and I've got a couple of friends in the real estate business. These are agents who've done this and have always come back and reported to me very, very good results generating seller leads using Facebook advertising. But the other day, and I'll just scroll down here, Carrie, I think, has the link for that, and we'll send the link out to everybody of where you can find this post. But Pat and Wayne Harriman left a comment basically saying, are my results good? And if you were to read this comment, what you would see is that over the course of about 2 weeks, they spent a total of $79.96 on Facebook ads, and they generated 92 seller leads. Now, I don't know where you guys come from, but I know a few things about the real estate industry, and one of those is if you go out and try to purchase seller leads, so we're talking from house values, from Trulia, from Zillow, from any of these places out there that are generating seller leads, you're looking at somewhere between $30 and $70 a lead. Now, so let that sink in for a minute. $30 to $70 a lead. Let's say at the very, very low end, $30 a lead. Like, they generated, what, $2,700 in leads? A lot. A lot. Like, these numbers to me are crazy, and they were only in a town with 11,000 people, or maybe that's what the ad was serving up for them on. This is nuts. If you guys haven't checked this out yet, please do it. You thought you were coming here to learn about community events. You are going to learn about that in a minute, but if you want to get your hands on really good seller leads, by the way, here's the blog post that teaches you how to do that. And again, I don't make this stuff up. These folks went out and did it. They ran a test, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit humorous to me that they said, okay, we're not sure how this is, but is this good? Like, this is awesome. So there you go. I think Carrie sent the link out for you guys on that. Okay, oh, one last thing before we get started. We've got a little contest going where you guys can win the points. The people that you invite can win free Rainmaker accounts, and I think somebody's going to win a Kindle or something. Go to your My homepage, and there's this link at the top that will give you guys the details. We've got a contest. It's about inviting your peers or your friends or your vendors or whoever to Active Rain so they can jump in and participate and hopefully learn something out of it. Like I think you guys are. That's why you're here today. You're like, all right, shut up, get out of the way. Let's bring Greg on. Here it is, community events, how to win. So for Carrie, because she's recording here, let's get ready to dive into the rain. Okay, everybody, welcome. I appreciate you joining us today. We're going to talk about community events and how to win friends and influence neighbors. And I don't know that you're necessarily going to make a whole bunch of new friends, but Greg McDaniel's here. He's a realtor. He's a trainer for J Rockcliff REALTORS. He's a realtor with the McDaniel Callahan real estate team. He's in the Bay Area. They're kind of in the East Bay. Greg, how you doing today, my friend?
Bob, man, I am loving life. I was listening to you earlier on your pre-log before we started recording this about the Facebook ads, and I want to do a quick little plug on that. We did that as well. We went to Fiverr.com, created a quick little ad, posted it out on Facebook, and I average anywhere from 7 to 15 leads a day on Facebook for seller leads. So yeah, I mean, you guys are going to learn a ton on that next webinar. I had to say that, man. It is a great way to find sellers.
You know, that comment that I showed that throwing all those numbers out there, they actually had said they limited their budget to $5 a day. I mean, I'm convinced had they had a larger budget, they would have generated more leads. But that is just nuts. If you guys
Oh, it
aren't doing
absolutely is,
that,
and this is going to tie perfectly into what we're going to talk about today about events, and because you have to have people to have an event, right?
that's
So
right.
these two dovetail perfectly together, my friend. And I am
Awesome.
so pumped to get out there and let's share with people, and let's show them how they can make an event and kind of how to do events so they can get referrals and build more client respect and love.
Okay, let's do it. Right before we do that, though, I want to make sure everybody's aware of, I mentioned it already. We've had you on here. This is your third time now, Greg, so I appreciate you coming back and doing this. And, I mean, Greg, like I said, he does training for J Rockcliff. He has his own business, and then he takes the time to do stuff like this for us, so I really appreciate it. And we've already done 2 of these, okay? There's the URLs for both of those. Carrie will send those out to you guys right now, but essentially the first time we had Greg here, we talked about mailers and calling into a farm, just picking up the phone and calling into a farm. What do you talk about and what do you say? And then we had him back for more dirt on farming. I think we talked about door knocking, and we've talked about just about everything as it relates to really getting your hands dirty and getting in there and developing a geographic farm. And today we're gonna look. I think in terms of having a community event, Greg, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not as much a farm thing as it is just reaching out to the people that you're connected to in some way or that you want to be connected to. That doesn't necessarily have to be in a geographic farm, right?
100% correct. And we're going to explore both of those options. So we're going to talk about how you can do geographical farming and throw events. And we're also going to talk about how to do your sphere of influence, past clients, current clients, prospects, all those wonderful people, and how to do events with them. I'm going to share some funny stories about what we've done, what's worked, what hasn't worked, some ideas how you can practically implement these without spending 1,000 hours a week trying to get this event to be just perfect. So, I guess one of the first things we probably want to talk about, Bob, I think we should probably go to our next slide here, right? Okay, why? Why in the heck am I going to go out there? Am I going to talk to these people? Well, it's very, very, very obvious in my personal opinion. It's because you're a realtor, right? And they see you on the signs, they see your business card, they see your advertising in places. You're a stagnant, face or shoulders or team posing there. They don't know who you are. They don't know your concerns in life, your fears, your joys, your loves. They don't know you as a human. And people, if everything's even, they want to do business with people that they like and trust and love, right? Well, these events allow you the opportunity to become that human, that living person in front of them that has the passion for boating or for art or for food or for pets or whatever that they share. That is why you do these events. You have got to humanize yourself. Do not hide behind the computer. So many young realtors and a lot of the older realtors that have been in the industry for a long time are getting caught up in the tech era, going, well, I'm just going to find my business online, or I'm just going to do this certain way of prospecting. That is fine to do that, but they have to like you. And this is how you're going to do it. So
for all we talk, I mean, here at Active Brain, obviously we're a big proponents of people having a business that has visibility online. But the reality of it is, right, and the National Association of Realtors just came out with their newest, like it was from 2000, I think they call it the 2014 profile of home buyers and sellers, but it's really data from the last year, right? They just, 70%, it's somewhere in there, 73% or something like that of clients are coming from either your sphere of influence or referrals, right? So these are getting out and meeting people, and it's not coming, there's business being generated online and people start their search online, but a lot of your business is going to end up coming from the people you've worked with before or the people that they know.
Absolutely. And you know what? One of the most important things that we talk about in our team all the time, and we had this fantastic woman that has joined our team. Her name is Candace, and she is coming in and she is cleaning up our database. We have over 6,000 people in our database that we've had the opportunity to either meet or we are currently working with. But life gets busy, stuff happens, and people fell through the cracks. And we realized that there were hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars in commissions hiding in our database. And that's something we need to talk about. We need to have a database in here. But what she's doing is she's going back and she's cleaning them all up. She's calling through them all, and she's starting back at the oldest people that we have. I think it's like 2008, 2009, okay? I mean, we dropped the ball on some of these folks. But when she's calling back through them and she's talking to folks, they are genuinely excited to hear from her, and they are actually, she's found 3, if not 4 potential sellers just from 3 or 4 days of calling. We just brought her on, and she's absolutely amazing. So with that in mind, my point in this is start calling back through your database, guys. Start going back and you know, and re-engaging with those people that you think, well, gosh, they didn't pick up the phone the last 5 times they called them. You know, call them the 6th time, call them the 7th, call them the 8th. You know, 80% of all sales live between the 5th and the 12th contact. And that's where your friends in your sphere and all these past clients, that's where they live. Get back out there and talk to them, re-engage, invite them to something. They really want to get invited to something. I can guarantee you that.
So when we were setting this up and Greg and I were talking before the call or over the course of this last week, for me, it just rang. You know, we ran a real estate company and had, you know, 150 agents that worked for us, and I know most of them didn't have a very developed database. And so I want to ask you guys who are on the call here, and I meant to set a poll question for this up, and I didn't get to it. But find the question box where you can type in a question to us. It's somewhere on your GoToWebinar control panel. And I want you guys to check in for me, like, and be honest with yourself. Be honest with me. I just want to kind of get a sense for folks on the call here. How many of you guys have a database? So we're talking about the who. Like, who can we invite to these kinds of things? And it's pretty obvious, right? This is nothing groundbreaking here. It's going to be your current clients, or maybe your leads, or your sphere of influence, or your past clients, your friends, your family, people you'd like to do business with. You know, maybe you tell them to invite a friend. How many of you guys have a database that would be pretty easy for you to sit down and start, you know, mailing out invites to people, picking up the phone and calling, shooting emails out?
You know, Bob, a quick little insert here. In one of my classes I was teaching the other day, I challenged my students. I said, hey, look, who has a database? About 3 or 4 of them raised their hands. The majority of the folks did not raise their hands. So I said, okay, this is what I'm going to challenge you to do. Actually, I'm going to make you do this. You have to go out and you have to call 10 people in your sphere of influence, friends, family, or past clients or current clients or whatever. You have to call them before our next class. You know, I got that look of like, I don't want to do this. I said, just do it. And so they gave me the look, fine, I'll do it. Well, they came back to the next class. Guess what happened? Every one of them, got a lead. One of them was actually a family member. Called up her uncle and said, hey, Uncle, how are you? Good to see you. What's new? He's like, oh, I'm doing fine. By the way, I want to buy this house. Can you represent me? I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Do you want to make more calls? Of course, or smile from ear to ear. But the point of that story is the fact that Bob is so right. Get a database, guys. You have to have a database. Do not tell me they're on cards and they're spread all over the place, or they're Post-it notes, or that it's your organized mess. No, that's not acceptable. Put it into a spreadsheet, upload it into a database somewhere, start a systematic follow-up so that you put them into different categories. So past clients, current clients, friends, family, contextually is a great product for that. It'll help you not fall through the cracks. Again, it's contextually. I don't get anything from mentioning them. I just love their program, and it's cheap, it's easy, it's very, very effective. So there you go.
Every single person that's answered this has said yes. And so that just leads me to believe that the people that the answer is no for just aren't going to answer it, which is fine. I really appreciate Lori's honesty, though. She says, yeah, I have one, but it took me 8 years before 8 years in the business before I finally recognized and realized the importance of it. But I love what she says here. Every day she spends at least 30 minutes updating or entering names into her database. And I think that's a great, right? You think about, like, there's so much you could be doing, but that should be a focus for her, and it is. It sounds like every day she spends 30 minutes just making some updates, maybe putting in the names of some people she met yesterday. Maybe she adds a field here and there, and like, good for you, Lori. That's good stuff. All right, so let's move on. We got the who. Let's talk about how often. How often are these? We're going to do an event. How often are we going to do one?
All right, so let's break it down. A lot of people say an event, their eyes glaze over. They're like, oh my God, there's so many details. How do I look at it? Well, it's really easy, guys. It's monthly events, quarterly events, yearly events, and then what we'll talk about a little bit later are community events, large community events. So let's talk about monthly events, Bob. Let's break it down to monthly events. Now, monthly events are going to be something that you're going to want to, obviously do monthly. You're going to have 12 of them in a year, but they're not gigantic. Now, this is where your database comes in to be absolutely clutch, because when your database, you can gather all the people that you have put into like monthly event category, and that should be a very large amount of people. And it's doing things like getting wine and cheese, go tasting a beer, go having a bite here, doing art night or something like that. But these monthly events you're going to have a very large amount of folks that will not show up to these, and that is good. That's fine. That's where we want it to be. We want it to be small and intimate, okay? Because you just want to get to know these people better. You want to catch up on their lives, see how their lives are. Those of you who have heard me before, you know that I'm a big proponent of the script called FORD, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And it's a conversational technique that will allow you to just walk very easily and smoothly through a conversation with folks and bring out what's going on with them. Quarterly events. Quarterly events are folks that you have worked with within that quarter. So we are in the end of our second quarter of this year. So who did you do business with from April till June, and then from January to March? You should throw some sort of fun, more intimate, more elegant event for these folks. Because remember, these are the people that are putting dollars in your pocket, clothes on your back, and food on your table. So treat them as such. Yearly events. These are the big ones, okay? These are the blowouts, go all out, have a big, great time, hire a DJ or a band, go cook a pig in the backyard, whatever it is. This is your big one, your big celebration. This is a celebration of you, your business, your success, your clients, their success. This is when you celebrate yourself and them. Now, all of these are they're very important to your business because you don't lose touch with these people. Losing touch and not following up with your clients is probably the biggest problem in our industry right now. It's the people that fall through the cracks, and that's why I brought up contactually. Don't allow this to happen. There's a sheet I can show you later on. Actually, Bob will put it up if you guys want to see it. It's the cost of not following up with your clients. It will blow your mind. On average, every client's worth $70,000 to you, and that's a $10,000 commission, and I'll show you how it breaks down in another time. But these are the times where these people do not fall through. So let's move forward. We got a lot to cover here in a very short amount of time. Okay, where are we going to
do this at? Where are we doing it?
Well, that's a great question. Think about this. You are the realtor. You are this person of respect. You are the guy or gal who got them into their house. They like you, right? Well, why don't you bring them into your home? Now, you got them into a house. You're going to bring them into your home. This is your place, your sanctuary, your place of refuge. This is where you come to relax, kick your feet up, and not be bothered. And you are going to invite them to your house. Now, we did this. We started doing this a long time ago at Terry's house, our senior partner and my father, and we invite everyone over to do a Cinco de Mayo party. And this turned into a big event, and we'll go into this a little bit later. But the biggest thing that I heard the first couple of times that we did it, before it became just like that was what we did, is that like, gosh, Terry, thank you so much for having us into your home. What an honor. And I'm like, I couldn't get it. I'm like, what do you mean an honor? This is just where I grew up. What are you talking about? But then I started getting it. When you're a person of respect in the community and you invite someone personally into your home, that's a big deal. Think about someone that you respect, and if they said, hey, look, Bob, John, whoever, come on into my home. I would like to have you as my guest. You're probably going to be showing up. But let's say your home isn't what you would like it to be, or it's not where you'd kind of want to have people. You're more private or something along those lines. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, the world needs people that are private. I'm obviously not one of those people. But let's do them somewhere a little bit more in the public. So do it at a restaurant or a bar. Go talk to a local, like we have a bar here in town. It's called Magaz. They have a lot of really good food. It's a very family-friendly place. Go rent a place out like that. Bring a lot of your people in there for your annual event, and kind of just a good environment. Have a barbecue in the back or something like that. Or do more of a restaurant, sit-down kind of a venue. Maybe do a new art gallery in town, or maybe a new clothing store that opened up that wants to get some exposure, or a local business of some sort. Go throw it more of a public place. If you don't have those and you want to go a little bit more in the open air, go outside to a park. I mean, there's beautiful parks. Go to your country club. Go to your community center. Go to your pool. Go anywhere. These events do not have to cost you a lot of money. They really don't. You can go as high budget as you want or as low budget as you want, because it's still just about you meeting them. That's all this is about. So we can get caught up in the nitty-gritty, but you really don't have to. All right, next one, cutting costs. All right, so I've been researching a lot of this stuff. How can we reduce costs, right? Because, you know, sometimes times are hard, like 2008, for all of you that were in this business, if you all remember how wonderful those times were, you know, we all looked to cut our budgets. Now, first off, you know, go to your lender. Go talk to your lender. Say, hey, you know, lender buddy. You know, my lender, his name is Casey. I go, hey, Case, we're thinking about doing this party. It's for all my real estate clients. Would you like to help me cut the cost and go 50-50 with me? Because he wants to get in front of all these people. He wants to start talking about refinances and, you know, purchases and all kinds of other financial topics. And he said, yeah, absolutely, not a problem. Another way, if you're just new in the business and you don't have a lender that you like all that much, or you know, haven't found someone that you really trust or something along those lines, maybe talk to a contractor or someone in what we call our good guy list or your preferred vendor list. And maybe, you know, have a party around something that they are involved in. Ask the people who are coming to the event to bring something. Maybe have them bring the meat or drinks or snacks or plates or cups or something. Basically, designate out to these folks and help them become part of this event. Like they're now in charge of it with you. It'll give people a nice sense of respect when they show up. And they're like, you know what? I did a darn good job helping with this party. Another thing that you can do is potlucks. Potlucks, people love potlucks. I mean, hey, you bring the peel off, I'll bring the salad, you bring the desserts. Everyone's happy. Another way to kind of cut cost is if you're going to do an event somewhere else where it's going to take a little bit of money, you do all the legwork and you set it all up, but you ask them to pay their way. So, hey, look, we're going to be going to such and such a venue. The cost for the event is going to be blank. Well, you know what? If it's a good enough venue, people are absolutely going to be having no problem with paying such a price. All right, let's move on, my friend. Oh goodness, I'm like, thought we didn't know if I was there yet. All right, planning and taking time for the event. The larger events are going to take time, and it's going to take a team for you to really kind of get this going. We have 3 or 4 people on our team that kind of sat down when we did our larger events, and we did a weekly kind of progress report. You know, there's a couple of things that you should identify when you are planning an event. Here are 10 steps, and Bob is going to get this, and you guys are free to download this document. I found it this morning when I was doing some more additional research. 10 steps for an event planning. First off, you want to identify what kind of event or activity you want to do. You know, so do I want to do a big event or a small event? Determine the goals of the event and what you'd like to accomplish. Essentially, is this going to be a branding event, or is this going to be, I'm going to be asking for referrals, or is this going to be a lunch and learn, or what is it going to be? You're also going to want to identify your time. When and date do you want to do it? You want to set it in times that are not going to be conflicting with other people's calendars. Quick little story on that. We learned this year, actually. We threw our annual spring cleaning and dump your junk event, and I'll talk about that when we get to the big event section. But it's a large community event, right? We've had hundreds and hundreds of people show up in the past. Well, we threw ours without thinking right during spring break for our schools. Major problem. Check your calendars, guys. Make sure they don't conflict, because when the kids are out of schools, you got everyone's out of town, and your event's going to be really low. We had 25 to 40 people show up. I mean, it was a decent show up for our charities, but not the best turnout we've ever had, I can tell you that. Talk about partnerships that you can do with maybe other organizations. So maybe you can do it in front of a restaurant, or in front of a store, or at a school, or in front of your office, or something like that. But figure out who you can partner up with to get this thing done, and then identify their roles. Like, okay, you guys are going to be in charge of the traffic. You're going to be in charge of, the charities or whatever it's going to be. Also, very important, budgets. Budgets for big or small events, you do not want to break the banks. You want to make sure that this thing is very easy and very cost effective. Because remember, We're not out here to spend money. We're out here to make money, right? So we want to make it so that we get these people engaged. They like us. They want to come back again. And oh, by the way, yeah, we are thinking of selling or buying or investment or whatnot. But you want to make money on these things. Then we want to create an event timeline. How long are we going to be doing this? And like we set ours from 11 to 1. That was it. 11 to 1, 1 o'clock came, boom, we shut this thing down. We were heading home. So those are a few things just to kind of think about. Also materials, programs, stuff like that. But that's where it's going to come into the 3 to 6 months planning for the larger events, smaller events, at least a month lead time. And that's going to be more long for the medium stuff, like your quarterly. Make sure you have a month on that for planning, for registration, for getting people to sign up for it, and then getting the location all set up. The smaller monthly events that you're going to invite everybody to, those should just be pre-planned. You should sit down in December sometime when it's a little bit slower and just get a calendar out and go, okay, every second Thursday is going to be blank or whatever works for you guys, and then pick different fun things.
Greg, you guys have been doing this in your business for quite a while now. Once you kind of get in the habit of doing these things, the planning on them, I mean, you still have to put some effort into it, but it kind of falls into place, right? You know what to expect. You've done it before, and you're not reinventing the wheel every time you guys come up with some different idea or some new thing you want to try out.
Oh, God, no. No. Yeah, absolutely. No. As soon as you do this a couple of times, guys, it's going to be like riding a bike. You're going to hop back on that thing, and you're going to start pedaling. You're going to be right. It's going to be easy because you can pick up the phone and call, X, Y, and Z restaurant and say, hey, look, we're going to be doing our event again. Is this slot available? They're like, hey, yeah, Greg, not a problem. We can do it, and it's easy. So, Bob, great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right. So where are we gonna get? I think one of the very first things you said is you can't have a party without the people.
You cannot have a party without people.
So we started with the who, right? Who are we going to get to come here? Well, how now? How are we going to get them to come here? How are we going to get the word out to some of these folks?
Okay, so everyone's looking at this. Don't freak out. We're going to go through 2 slides here really quickly. We're going to break them down for you per type of event. All right, so check it out. So we got the web, the radio, the schools. Now the schools are going to break down a little bit more. When we did our Dump Your Junk and Spring Cleaning event, our coordinator, our B2B coordinator that we have, AKA my sister, when she was pregnant and wanted some stuff to do while she didn't have to leave the house. She went out and she talked to all the schools, the school district, and she figured out per school what they needed, either electronic or hard copy flyers for the event. That alone right there, guys, was the biggest puller to people to the event. So that is a very big one. You should probably mark that one down and start thinking about who you should contact. Mailers, so those are going to be probably mailers to your clients or your sphere or to a neighborhood. Now, if you're going to do a neighborhood mailing, this is what your neighborhood mailing would be for. Very effective parties, and they are the welcoming of the new buyer, or it is the goodbye to the seller. Now, these are really, really, really good. Again, partner with a lender or a vendor of yours that you like and trust. Go get some sandwiches from Safeway or from some local restaurant, bring them in with some sodas, and let people mingle and say goodbye or say hello. While you're doing that, here's a little tip for you. While you're doing that, you better be there because you're meeting and greeting and hanging out and talking, but have your smartphone with you. If you don't have a smartphone, have a flip camera or have some sort of video recording device. And then record people, either saying, gosh, Bob and Sue, what great neighbors. We are going to really, really miss them. We wish them the best, or it's like, gosh, tell us a little bit about the neighborhood for the new buyers, so then you can give these the schools here are really good, but the parks are even better. There's hiking trails right around the corner, boating's around, over the hill, whatever it is, But get these things filmed, and then post them on your Facebook, your LinkedIn. Obviously, YouTube is where you're going to post them first off and take the link and send them out. But it's just going to make people feel good, and you're going to get original content from that, which is going to boost your SEO rating for your site and for your name. Moving forward, door knocking. That is going to be for probably the same thing, buyer, welcoming a buyer or saying goodbye to a seller. Social media, very powerful, both written and video. Email blast and drip. Open houses. Very good for large events, like the large community events. Patch.com. For all of you who have not heard of Patch.com, Patch.com is a phenomenal resource. It's basically your digital online local newspaper. Okay, every single town has one. So Danville, California, Walnut Creek, California, San Francisco, California, all of them have their independent patches. So find yours, and then you can blog on there too, guys. By the way, it's free, so you can do real estate blogging on there and talk about what's going on and become an expert. Videos, we already talked a little bit about those. Flyers in local shops, flyers around the area, flyers in local apartments. That is a huge one, by the way. And then place an ad in the newspaper talking about what you're going to be doing. Facebook ads, Google AdWords. We have done all of these, and all of these pull very, very strongly. The one thing that pulls even stronger is when you're out there and you're personally talking to people and you're saying, hey, we're doing this event for this charity or for this whatever, and we would love to have you guys come. Have you guys heard of blank? And that is what's going to pull the absolute strongest for you. Now,
so break it down for me, right? Because we're not going to do I'm not going to get a radio spot to promote my monthly event, maybe, right? So break it down for me.
All right, so monthly events. Here you go, guys. Remember, these are out to your sphere, so forth. So send a mailer out to them. Send a card. Say, hey, look, we're going to be doing a wine and cheese down at the Vine on Thursday from 6 until 7:30. Love to see you. Email blast, email drip. Do a video about that. Post that up and create a group for these people on Facebook. Post it up under that group. Do that there. Also do personal calls. If you have a lot of folks, maybe have an assistant do the calls, or maybe have a college kid do the calls, or find someone to do a personal call inviting these people to it.
I get called twice a month. So Ben Kinney is a good friend of mine, and he knows that I've lived in the area that he sells houses in. And this guy sells, his team sells 500 plus a year. I get called twice a year from somebody on Ben's team. I know her, but she calls and invites me to. I get invited to their yearly client party, even though I'm not one of their clients. But and then they're always something else throughout the year that I get invited to by them, and I don't ever go because I don't live there anymore. But I know plenty of people that still do live there. It's where I grew up, and he's the first guy that I think of whenever. I referred a friend to him whose parents sold their place 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's huge. You're just staying in contact. I mean, get the personal invite. Again, this is a belly-to-belly, person-to-person business, is it not? Well, yeah. Here you go. This is an opportunity, and you're not talking about real estate. You're talking about something fun. People love to be invited to parties. Even if they can't come, it doesn't matter. Keep inviting these people because they still want to hear that you like them and that you want them around them. So don't forget that.
This one here, the quarterly events, I think it's such a great idea. You hear so many people, and there's been surveys done where it's like when a buyer buys their house, they're 80% of them are likely to buy with the agent they bought with because they thought they did a great job, but only 30% of them end up doing it, right? Because we don't do a very good job of staying in touch with our clients.
No, we do a horrible job.
There's other factors too. This industry has high turnover, but these quarterly events are just such a good idea, I think, in terms of who's going to come. It's real easy for you to identify those people. It's probably pretty easy for you to get in touch with them, and heck, you just help them find the biggest investment of their life in the last 3 months. They're probably going to take the time to come have dinner with you.
Yeah, they're going to remember you.
Right.
they want to come. They want to get to know you more too. Shoot. Well, worst case scenario is you have a nice meal. Seriously, that's the worst thing you do. We all have those clients that we don't like all that much. Still invite them. Okay, here's a great story. I was at Kaiser picking up a prescription about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I ran into one of my past clients. Her name is Terry. And I said, hey, Terry, how are you? How's Ron? How's his leg? How's his hip? Because he was limping, had a really, really bad limp. And she said, well, we're doing great. He's doing really well. And at the end of, the conversation, she said, you know what, Greg? We've been thinking about you, and we just really liked you. We really liked working with you, and we always talk about you, and we can't wait to refer you out. Now, keep in mind, during this transaction, I thought they hated me. I really thought they hated me. It was just down and dirty, nasty. But you know what? Now I know, because I talked to Terry the other day, and he said that he ran into him and that they liked me. I'm like, gosh, I just never saw it coming. So don't exclude people just because you think that it might have got off on the wrong foot. They do have referrals, and time does heal, and they do, their friends are going to be buying or selling too. Why not get the money, right? Okay, what are we at?
So if you're doing I guess large community events, the idea here was you're going to throw everything at one of these things, right? If you're doing the big, like you guys did the recycling or get rid of your junk program there, and it's a big community event. I mean, you guys pretty much came at that from every angle, right?
Every angle. We hit that thing with every ammo piece that we had. I mean, we went out on the web. We did as a web presence. We put it on our website. We put it on as many radio station websites with community boards as we could. We did flyers to the school district and emails to the school district like we just talked about. We did mailers out to the entire area. We had a bunch of our guys out door knocking, around different areas, right around the front high school parking lot that we were going to be doing it, inviting them into it. We did a lot of social media blasts on it. We did videos on it. We did an invite out to as many people we had in our database, talking about it at every open house. We had the flyer on the back of the home flyer, so they had to take it with them, or a separate flyer talking about what was going to be going on there. Patch.com, every single city within the area, within an immediate area, was had it on their site, on their community events. I did videos on it, like I told you, posted it on social media, inviting people. We're going to be, hosting 3 separate charities. We're supporting battered women. Just bike program to help people in Africa, so on and so forth. Then we went out and we went out to the local shops, and we got nice color flyers, right? We went and put them and said, hey, this is who I am, where I'm from, this is why I'm here, and I'm trying to see if you could help me promote this event, helping battered women. And well, of course, you say something like that, and people will automatically help you. But that thing is really something close to my heart. Someone who beats on someone else is not okay with me, and they could see that in my face. And every single shop took them, and they handed them out for folks. It was outstanding. Then placing out in the newspaper, we placed an ad out there, and we did Google pay-per-click to see if we can get people to come in. Again, in the past, when we did this, we had, I think our last one that we did that one in Alamo. We had about 400 people roll through. I mean, it was a stinking zoo, right? But that's what I wanted. I wanted a zoo, and we had the staff to handle it. So recruit your friends and family if you're going to do one of these big things. But like I said, this last one, we were like crickets because we did it during spring break. Do not do it during spring break. It will not turn out well for you.
Let's give me some ideas then for some different types of things you can host. Maybe for Susan asked, she said, which one do you like the best? Which one seems to be the easiest to kind of get started? If I've never done an event before, what do you think would be kind of the best for getting started?
Susan, the easiest and fastest way to get started would just be to do a monthly event. Pick a hobby or an interest of yours. So maybe if you're a painter, or if you like to sew, or if you are a foodie or whatever, right? Pick something you're interested in and invite people to go do it with you. And it can be an email, and it's a great way to do follow-up calls like, hey, Becky, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a while. I'm putting a few of us together. We're going to go down and we're going to do blank tonight or on whatever date. Would you be able to make it? That's what you would want to do. That's the simplest, easiest, quickest, cheapest way you could possibly get started.
All right. So here's some different ideas that you gave us, or that you're going to give us.
Right. Okay. So monthly meetups. You can invite them out for a bite to eat. You can invite them out for a drink. You can maybe have them over to your house for dinner. Gosh, I mean, a couple of my favorites. There's like painting events, right? I can't remember the name of the company, but you can go in there and you can bring like wine or hot tea or whatever you want to drink in there, and then they teach you how to paint. Really kind of a fun idea if you like doing that. Maybe doing a gardening event. Hey, if you're into gardening, you want to show off your flowers. It's summer, things are blooming, bring them on in. Maybe if you're a golfer, invite people to do a foursome golfing early on Saturday morning. You have them captive for 18 holes. And it's a very intimate event. Again, you can make it, hey, guys, I can only get 3 people. I'd love to have you in there with me. That's something you could do that would be very easy on a monthly basis.
I have a good friend that does that every single Saturday. Him and his friend Grant, who's a financial planner. They each bring one person. So Ryan brings one person, Grant brings one person. Maybe they talk about business, maybe they don't. Maybe they just golf. But every single Saturday, they've been doing it for years, and they've been able to exchange a bunch of business that way. Where Ryan just sold a house to somebody, he brings them, and they get a chance to chat with Grant a little bit about financial planning, or at least just get to know Grant, and maybe later talk to him about financial planning. And then the same way, vice versa with Ryan. Grant will bring people that he thinks maybe are interested in buying an investment property or something.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be huge. I mean, like I said, go down and get a glass of wine or something. I mean, low key. I mean, that's what you should be thinking about doing.
So we talked about this one, or we talked about quarterly dinners for everybody that you did a deal with. What about client theme parties?
An idea. Well, let's back up real quickly to quarterly. Something that you should consider doing. It can't be that expensive. Probably be cheaper than going out. Get a professional chef. Look at them in your area. They are there. I guarantee you. They will come and cook in your home for you. Do it very. Get the 4 to 20 couples, or whatever amount you sell. Or one, or whatever it is, into your home. Have them cook for you, and then pair wine. It's an amazing event. This is high quality stuff. A 5-star kind of a deal, and again, you're bringing them into your home. Something very intimate. All right. Client theme parties. All right, these are the big boys. You can do everything from pool parties, movie nights. Rent out a theater. We did it. I can remember we did our Cinco de Mayo parties, right? We blew the doors off with this thing, man. We had mariachi bands. We had it catered. We had kegs of beer. We had a little wine. We had what did we do? We had serve staff. We had tables brought in.
Hey, as I'm envisioning this, though, I mean, the very first year you did it, was it that, or did it build to that?
It went off the hook the first year.
Really?
It exploded because these are your people, man. These are the people that, remember, you're doing business with them. They like you. They trust you. They refer to you. They know you. They want to come to your house. This is where you want to go do. I mean, that's a big one. Also, here's some other stuff. For client theme parties, we're going to do something we're going to roll out, I think, this year called Endless Summer. Endless Summer is an idea I came up with a couple of months back, and it was, September, all the kids are back in school, parents are back in their routines, everybody is still hot out, everybody wishes they were there in their board shorts or their bikinis out having fun somewhere, so why not do it? Invite everybody over, throw a big barbecue, throw a pig on the grill, do something, get the kids in the pool, just relax. Call it Endless Summer. Give them something to look forward to after they've already gone back to their reality. Now, these things, I mean, big client parties and stuff like this, I mean, do a bowling night for kids and adults, like a disco bowling night. Do a Super Bowl parties. Go to art shows. Go antiquing with a large group of folks if that's something that you're into.
So when you guys get out of here, when we send you on your way here in 15 minutes, we have a PDF. Greg, his mind never stops. They've been doing these things for years, but you've got to download. You guys will be able to take away with this. That's 50 ideas, just 50 random party ideas, as if you need an idea or a reason to have a party. But we'll give you that. He's been saying a bunch of them here as he's going through, but you'll be able to walk away with that. So hopefully you're not feverishly writing down every idea that comes off of his lips here. Talk to me about a lunch and learn.
Lunch and learns. Okay, these are extremely powerful. Another lender that my business partner uses quite a bit, Kevin, he throws lunch and learns, and they're very, very successful. But a lot of the questions, like when I first started hearing about it, I'm like, what the heck are you going to talk about at a lunch and learn? And this is another thing you guys can have. But I mean, here are a couple ideas for lunch and learns, and these, of course, you go out and you find the professional to come in and do it. But talk about stuff like maybe for kids or parenting, build how to build your child's self-esteem, or helping children develop strong ethics and values, or successful single parenting tips and tricks. Elderly care for our parents that are maybe getting a little bit older than we would like to see, but maybe communicating with an elderly adult, or steps for keeping seniors independent and safe. Here's the personal development stuff: awakening your passion for your life, bringing out the best in others, developing emotional intelligence. I mean, it goes on and on. I mean, I have stuff everywhere that you could do. 10 strategies for improving your finances. and it just keeps going. I mean, the list doesn't stop. The most important thing is to get in there, and again, you go in and you partner with one of your local restaurants or taco shops or burrito shops, and have them say, hey, look, I'll trade you. You come in, I'll give you free exposure to all these people. Give me a little bit of a discount, and I'll get up and talk about what you do and your food and your discounts for other future events. Have them partner with you. You can cut your cost on this. Lunch and learns are incredibly powerful, and I highly recommend. Even if you get 2 people, that's a success. If you get 1 person, it's a success. Just start getting these events going, guys, and just start getting out there and talking to them. Some of the bigger ones that we talked about were, rent a bus and do something fun. Again, big. Do something big and fun. Do things that people always want to do but never do, like maybe a hot air balloon trip or wine tasting or a ski trip. Like our Chicago title that we use here, every year they used before SB whatever it was that makes them, they can't do anything for us anymore. But they used to throw a huge ski party or a ski trip every year. I mean, this bus was packed. So talk to your folks about this. Get people involved. Start doing this. Maybe do a baseball game. Do something. Just get out there and just go out and have some fun with people out in the general public. There's a guy that did this in Chicago, which I love the idea of. He would get his best clients together, about 10 or 15 couples, and then he would say, look, guys, hey, let's go into the city. I'll rent a luxury bus for us. We'll all pitch in a few dollars, and then we'll go in, we'll see like a Broadway-style play, we'll get a gourmet meal, and then we'll all stay in a super nice hotel for the night. Well, and when he did that, he said, why don't you guys all invite one couple that I don't know, that has not worked with us? We would love to get to know him. He's gotten hundreds of referrals from that because, again, you're the fun agent, you're the fun realtor, you're doing something that's not real estate related. Something that I think I want to talk about here super quick, Bob, is that something we didn't quite bring up yet, and that's event giveaways. Things that you're going to hand out to people as they leave. Remember when we were kids and you went to a friend's birthday party and they gave you that little bag and it had all these candies and a little, like, I don't know, erasers or whatever else in there? People still like to get gifts when they leave. So, some ideas for giveaway gifts in a little bag. We did a recording years ago, and those of you who remember Star Power and our late Howard Britton, we did a CD recording with him. So we give a CD away, we give our notepads away, we give our pens away. We also give letter openers away as well, and those things are absolutely invaluable. Those things stay around like bad penny. They are never leaving, and your card is in there, so it's a really good thing to give away. But what about going down and getting maybe some custom T-shirts for an event that you're going to throw, or some beach balls with your brand on it, golf balls, coasters, coupons for local restaurants? We did those here in our local area. We got a $25 gift certificate to a Forbes Mill Steakhouse. We got a $100 gift certificate to nakedwines.com. Buy one, get one free for another restaurant, 25% off the total bill at McGaw's, so on and so forth. So go to a restaurant you like, get a coupon, give it to them, and thank you, and thanks for showing up. Give away some candy if you want to do that. Maybe give away some branded sunglasses if you're doing a beach party. You kind of feel where I'm going with this. Just roll with this. We did our coasters down at McGaw's. It's our smiling faces on one side of the coaster, Casey's information, our lender, on the other side. It was under $400 for us to do this, and we got 5,000 of those things, and we gave them to the bar, and they are all over the place. It's like the world's smallest billboard that they have to look at because they're going to put their drink down on it. It is awesome. So those are some giveaway ideas. Bob, what's our next slide here? Because I would definitely want to. Okay, community events. There's one I want to follow. I want to do at the end of this. I want to talk about how to wrap it all up and how to get business from all of this. So again, here are some of our community event ideas. Again, we talked about spring cleaning. Now the cleanup. I had one of the girls in one of my classes. She's like, "Gosh, where I live, the streets are sometimes a little bit more dirty than I would like for my kids." I said, "That's an outstanding idea. Why don't you do this? Why don't you go talk to your city, talk to the planning department, and talk to the trash division, and say, look, this is what I want to do. I want to help you guys clean this up, and I want to help educate kids how to make the area cleaner." And she did, and she brought it out to all the schools. All the parents loved it because it's teaching the kids responsibility. The city loved it because it was keeping the streets clean, and she made it a big event. It was very, very successful. So think about something like that. Book drives, one warm coat. Think about how many coats do you have in your closet right now that you don't use? Really? There are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children out there that could use a coat. Get in touch with One Warm Coat. Get an event. You'll save people's lives.
The same friend of mine that goes out and does the Saturday morning golf thing, he does every year, just in December, he'll go out and start collecting coats, and he does it door to door. He does it with his friends and family, and then on Christmas Eve night, he'll take those coats down, and I don't know that this would be for everybody, but he does it. He'll take these coats downtown Seattle, and he'll hand them out. And he actually does his own coat drive. He gets the coats, but he does it as a part of his business, and he goes door to door, and he talks to people in his community that, by this time, he's been doing this for a number of years now, but there's so many opportunities to do this kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to always be this huge scale either. Like, he does it on a pretty small scale, but it's just him getting out there and meeting people and talking to them for a good cause.
Yeah, exactly right. We have a group down here called ARF. It's a pet adoption place, and so we partnered with ARF one time, and we partnered with Magaz, and we brought new customers in for lunch at the restaurant, and we had a pet adoption in their back parking lot. I think they had like 15 animals on the truck that day. They adopted, I think, 13. So it was one of their best adoptions ever. And we promoted that around town, door to door, and in all the shops. That's another one to do. Pets, kids and puppies, you guys. Kids and puppies. Put those two together, and you'll have a wildly successful event, and you'll be benefiting a lot of people that need some help. So a couple more here. Support a local charity. We talked about the battered women's shelter that I have a thing for. A bike company called Mike's Bikes. Locally, they have an outreach program. They take working, non-working, bikes, and they rehab them, ship them over to Sierra Leone, and then give them to women and children to get to work in school. That's a really big thing. Or a shredding party. Shredding companies are pretty cheap. Have them come down to somewhere, have all your people around you come down and shred documents that have been taken out of space in their garage. Huge thing. Or community concert. Big industry. Get a couple of local bands out in a park somewhere and throw a concert for folks. People love concerts. That'd be a really easy and fun thing for you to do. Get big banners, put them on the stage, brand yourself, but let people have fun too.
All right, so you wanted to talk about something else. Maybe I missed a slide here for us. I apologize.
No problem. So let's wrap it up. We have about 6 or 7 minutes here, but I want to say, look, we've talked about 4 different ways to do an event, right? So we have our monthly, we have our quarterly, we have our big annual, and then we just talked about large community events. While you're there, and if you have the opportunity, get people to sign in, get their information, because you want to follow up with them. For your smaller events, I would, for wine and cheese on a Thursday or whatever, go get a handwritten card and say, hey, John, it was so great to see you last night. Thanks so much for your time. Great tip on the whatever, right? And just give them a handwritten card. Show them that you actually really appreciated getting time with them, and then ask for the business. When you know someone that's going to be buying or selling, please don't forget me. I love to help them, so on and so forth. For the larger events, send letters out, pre-written, mail merge them, the whole thing, but then sign each one of them, thanking them for coming to the event, asking for the referrals again, and asking them how you can help them grow their business. So, hey, Bob, how can I help you grow your business in webinars or in Active Rain? Obviously get more agents in, but do that. As soon as you give before you ask for anything in return, they're more likely to give you something. It's a law of reciprocity. Give before you get. And then if you get a lot of emails from them, email addresses, maybe do a Survey Monkey. Hey guys, thanks for coming. Could you answer these 3 questions? What did you like the most? What was, what could I have improved on? And who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling in the next, 3 to 6 months, or 1 to 6 months, or whatever you want to.
That's a great idea. I love that. Follow up by asking them about the event, and then slipping the buyers in the next 3 months.
And then notice the verbiage on that. It's not, do you know anyone that's going to be buying or selling? It's, who do you know? It's the assumption of, like, look, you're a popular person. You know a lot of people. Who do you know that's buying or selling? Those are some good ideas. We have done these follow-up. We have not done these follow-up, right? It's a dramatic difference when you actually do the follow-up and ask someone to help you out. They will do it because they want to. You just gave them a great party. Now they want to do something back for you. Again, law of reciprocity. Okay, now that's all pretty much what I wanted to go over right there.
All right. So I told you you'd get this chance to download 50 great ideas for a party, as if you need an idea or a reason to have a party, but Carrie will send that out to you. We'll also get this out in the recording. We had a little shake up here at Active Rain. We're in the process of losing Alicia, who's always behind the scenes and always making stuff happen. She does our recordings. She puts them together. She edits them. And we're missing her right now. And so I'm not sure. We'll try to get this recording turned around today, but it might not be till Monday that you guys see the recording come out. When we do send the recording out, put the blog post together with it, it'll have these downloads in there. It'll have links to the past classes we've done with Greg, all that fun stuff. We're going to have, so I don't have this on our calendar yet. I think Greg and I tentatively have a date. We're going to have Greg come back in a couple of weeks, towards the end of July, so maybe 6 weeks from now. He's going to come back, and we're going to talk scripts. We're going to talk, and you can hear, even in that last sentence there, who do you know that, so there's ways you say things that get people to do things you want them to do a little bit more effectively. And Greg's going to come back. Is that right, Greg? In about 6 or 7 weeks, you're going to come back, right? We're going to do scripts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're shooting for the 25th of July, if I remember correctly.
All right. The 25th of July, then it is. We're going to have Greg back for a class about scripts. So I appreciate you guys joining us for this. We have, well, I'm going to answer a few questions. We've got a few minutes here. The next webinar that we have coming up, 7 great social media ideas, on Friday, June 27th. So 2 weeks from, maybe 3 weeks. We'll slip another, there'll be a webinar in there somewhere else as well. But this is the next one we have on the calendar right now. It's a crowdsourcing deal where we've got our members right now thinking about, writing about some cool thing they're doing in social media to promote their business. We're going to share those ideas with you guys. Let's come in and ask some questions. So I was asking some questions throughout. John says, how do you track your ROI? How do you know that these things were worth it? Greg, I mean, do you
track it? How do you do it?
I mean, do you track it? Do you worry about it? Do you think about it? Do you just look back and say, all right, well, that was pretty successful. There was a lot of people showed up, and heck, I got a bunch of people that filled out my survey afterwards. Like, how are you tracking it? I think it would be hard to track your ROI back to like a dollar for dollar type of thing, but maybe not.
Well, the best way to track your ROI is going to be in regards to how you follow up with these people. How are you going to re-engage with them after the event? If you want to track it, you got to figure out what your budget is and then monetize that against what you're going to make on your commission. So, are you going to spend $5,000 on the party, $2,000, $100? What are you going to spend versus what your potential return? So, it would be it's on the front end and the back end. All right. So when the front end is when you get people there, lock them in. Who showed up? Bob and John Smith showed up. Here's Bob and John Smith at AOL or yahoo.com. Here's their phone number and address. It's just a way to clean up your database as well. Ask them to sign in. Now you have a way to re-engage with them on the back end and ask for the business. That's how you do it. It's not rocket science, but it is effective. We had a young girl when we were doing our Cinco de Mayo party, a high school girl that we hired, and her sole and only job in life was to be at the front door. And she was going to be meeting and greeting, like, hi, welcome, please sign in, here's your cups, and here are your utensils. It was like, you have to give this to get this. And it works very, very well.
You guys write these party expenses off on your taxes, asks Cecil?
Oh, God, yeah.
Everything and anything.
Are you kidding me? we write the napkins off, man. I mean, you have to. When you're doing business, you got to get some of those tax write-offs.
Randy just confirming here. He says, hey, Randy Prothero, good to see you on here, man. My team uses Contactually. He says it links his Outlook up, it links his cell phone up, and it basically builds a communication log for his transactions. But all that stuff's coming into Contactually. So, man, if he's emailing you, you're getting into his database somehow. If he's got your phone number and it's all good.
Oh, so it also links up to your social media, so it can link up and your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, folks in there. You can just log into it and you just give them the username and passwords. It goes out and grabs all those folks and brings them into Contactually. And now you have what they call a bucket or a list of all those folks in there. Then you can do email drip campaigns. You can do blasts. You can do all kinds of stuff.
your buddy Sam is on here. He said he is actually confirming that the McDaniel Callahan Cinco de Mayo party is one of the top-notch parties in the East Bay.
Is that Sam Mariano by chance? If that's Sam, dude, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
That guy's a rock star title rep for Chicago, man. So glad to hear you, man.
All right, here's the deal, you guys. Well, I'm going to let you go. It just hit 11 o'clock here on my calendar. If you guys have a question for Greg, he's made himself available to answer questions for you guys, which I really appreciate. You can find right there. If you have a question just in general about anything we talked about today, you can leave it on our Facebook page at facebook.com/ActiveRain. I'll be keeping an eye on that throughout the day. If it's a question addressed to Greg and you weren't quick enough to write his email address down, I'll make sure that we get him to come in and answer a few questions on the Facebook page if they're there. Greg, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. It was another killer show, and thanks for coming in.
Bob, as always, man, I am so pumped to be back here. I cannot wait to be back on July 25th to just rock you guys' world with scripts and get you guys armored to go kill it out there and just get a bunch of clients. And I'm not kidding. Hit me up on my email. There's no joke. I will answer you. I will even call you. We'll talk, and I will answer. I will do everything I can to better your business. So thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it.
All right, you guys, on behalf of Greg, who just killed it today. You got Carrie and Alicia, who's not behind the scenes today, but Carrie's back there. My name's Bob Stewart here at Active Rain University. Bye-bye, everybody.